Good morning, students. Today I am here to teach you the next part of a chapter on seeds. The topic is types of germination. It is on page 51, chapter 6. First of all, we have to understand the seed regions. In the tiny seed, there are different regions. Okay, so there are two regions mainly known as the epicotyle and the hypocotyle. As you can see over here, okay, first we learn what is the epicotyle. So the region of the axis between the point of attachment of the cotyledons and the plumule. Okay, this is a plumule and this is a point of attachment. So this region is known as the epicotyle. Okay, so that's the region or known as the epicotyle. And when this elongates, when this epicotyle elongates first, then that type of germination is known as hypogeal germination. Now in this case you can see the second region, seed region, is the hypocotyle. Now what is this region? The region of the axis below the cotyledons, okay, is known as the hypocotyle. This part. Okay, so this is the hypocotyle and this is the epicotyle. Now, the types of germination, both epicotyle and hypocotyle, do not elongate together. It never happens that in a seed, both of them will elongate at the same time. One of it elongates first. So, depending on that, there is a type of germination. It is either the epicotyle or it is the hypocotyle which will elongate. Now, what is hypogeal germination? If the epicotyle elongates first, then the cotyledons, what will happen to the cotyledons? They will remain below the soil, and this type of germination is known as hypogeal germination. For example, in pea, gram and maize. Now the next type of germination is the epigeal germination. Now as I explained to you, in epigeal germination the hypocotyle elongates, the cotyledons are pushed above the ground. Okay, so this is a part that is below. So when this elongates first, obviously the cotyledons also will rise above the soil. Okay, it will rise above the ground, and this type of germination is known as the epigeal germination. I'll just get back here. So when this part grows up first, okay, when this part elongates, it is hypogeal germination. When this part elongates, it is epigeal germination. So the example of epigeal germination is bean and castor, etc. Now we come to the difference between epigeal germination and hypogeal germination. What is hypogeal germination? The cotyledons remain below the ground. In the epigeal germination, the cotyledons are pushed above the ground, because in this which the hypocotyle elongates faster, in this the epicotyle elongates faster, usually occurs in monocotyledonous plants. What are monocotyledonous plants? Having only one cotyledon. And epigeal germination normally occurs in dicotyledonous plants, okay, which rise, both the cotyledons will rise and come above the soil. Okay, now hypogeal germination, we learn in detail about hypogeal germination in the bean seed. Now this very often comes in the exam as a diagram based question. Okay, based on this diagram they can give you questions. So you should be very clear about the concept. So what is this type of germination? Hypogeal germination, the testa softens. So what happens in the initial stages of the germination? When you soak the seed in water, the seed absorbs the water, the testa softens, the outer covering seed coat softens and it bursts. The seed coat comes out. Then what happens? The radicle emerges, grows downwards and forms the root system. The plumule grows upwards and forms the shoot system. The plumule is arched. Okay, it is in the shape of an arch to protect the seedling. Okay, it is arched to protect the seedling. You can see over here it is in the arch shape. Okay, so it is protecting the seedling. The cotyledons supply food till it is able to prepare its own food. So this cotyledon, so it is down, it is supplying food to the growing seedling, okay, to the growing plant, and cotyledons remain underground during germination. You can see the cotyledons, they remain under the ground. This is a type of hypogeal germination. So in hypogeal germination, the epicotyle grows, elongates first. Okay, so when the epicotyle elongates first, the cotyledons remain down, the cotyledons supply food, plumule is arched. Why is it arched? To protect the young seedling. Okay, so that it is not trampled, it is not It is not destroyed by wind or rain or whatever. Okay, so that is the example of the pea seed. Now we move on to the next example, that is the bean seed, and this is a type of epigeal germination. Now remember, epigeal germination, what should elongate first? The hypocotyle. Now the seed absorbs water and it swells. Okay, so this first part of the germination is you soak the seeds in water, it absorbs water, it swells. Radicle grows downwards towards the soil. The arched hypocotyle forms a loop above the soil. So you can see over here the hypocotyle is elongated. Okay, this is epigeal germination. So hypocotyle elongates and pushes the cotyledons above the soil. It then straightens. So first it is arch shaped, okay, because it is like this, it is arch shaped. It then straightens, then in the course of days it straightens up, and you can see over here it is quite straight, and here it is very much straight. The cotyledons become the first. You can see these cotyledons, they supply the food to the growing seedling, okay, to the growing plant. It is supplying food. Then when these leaves they start forming fully, these leaves start photosynthesizing and preparing food. So that time these cotyledons, they will shrivel up, okay, they'll become dry and they will fall off. Okay, so this is an example of the epigeal germination in which the hypocotyle grows first. Okay, it elongates and pushes the cotyledons above the soil. So this is an example of bean seed epigeal germination. We'll move on to one more example. It is of the maize seed. Again over here it is a hypogeal germination. Now remember, in hypogeal germination, which part grows first? Which part elongates first? It is the epicotyle. So again the grain imbibes water, absorbs water and swells considerably. The radicle pierces through the coleorhiza. Okay, now what is the coleorhiza? The covering of the radicle. Okay, that we studied in the last class. Okay, then the radicle develops into the root system. As you know, radicle, it develops down into the root system. This dies off. Now what happens in this maize plant is that it dies off. Okay, this root system, the radicle, it dies off and new roots start developing. Okay, they are known as the adventitious roots or the fibrous roots, as you have learnt it before. Okay, so this this whatever the radicle stops growing, it dies off, and what grows new is the adventitious roots. The plumule pierces through the coleoptile. You can see here the plumule is piercing through the covering. Okay, it's covering, that is a coleoptile, and it grows straight up. Okay, the cotyledons absorb the food. Okay, the cotyledons is able to take in the food from the endosperm. We had learned this part of the maize seed when we did it in the first class. Okay, the cotyledons absorb food from the endosperm and the hypocotyle does not elongate. Okay, so that is this example of hypogeal germination in which the epicotyle elongates, the hypocotyle does not elongate. Now we come to another type of germination. It is a little different from the other types. It is known as viviparous germination. Now what happens in viviparous germination is the seed germinates within the fruit. You can see the fruit here. The seed has already germinated inside the fruit when it is attached to the parent plant. When it is attached to the main plant, that time only this seed, it is germinating inside the fruit. Example is Rhizophora and Sonorratia. After germination, the plant, what happens is it drops the seedling down. When it grows fully, what happens? The plant, it drops the seedling down automatically to the ground, which then develops roots. Okay, so when it is dropped down to the soil, it will develop roots like this, and it fixes itself to the soil and it will grow as a new plant. Now here they are showing the example of a mangrove plant over here. Okay, that is known as Rhizophora. Okay, Rhizophora is a mangrove plant. Okay, so here there is enough of water because it is a mangrove plant. So that is why it is growing down. It is attaching itself to the ground level, and there it grows new roots and it grows as a new plant. So this type of germination is known as viviparous germination. Germination which takes place inside the fruit when it is still attached to the parent plant. Now, what is a seedling? The germination ends with the formation of the seedling. Once a seedling is developed, we can say that the process of germination has ended, and now the seedling is in a stage when it is totally independent. Okay, it is independent of the stored food. It is now able to make its own food. It does not have to depend on anyone for its food, on the cotyledons or any part. Okay, that is what a seedling is. Now the leaves start manufacturing food by the process of photosynthesis. It later on will produce flowers and seeds and fruits and so on. Okay, so that's the end of the chapter. Thank you so much, kids, for watching the video.